America spends $350 billion a year on fast food and calls it value. Saigon spends $1 and calls it lunch. 13 stops, 13 dishes, 1,000 years of technique on a plastic stool 3 inches from traffic. The tourists never find these places. The locals never leave them. Subscribe to Traveling and Eating and don't go anywhere, because Stop 7 is the 60-cent dish that makes McDonald's entire menu look like a mistake. Stop 1. 80 cents. Com Tam, the broken rice that built a city. This dish started as garbage. Now it runs Saigon. Com Tam, broken rice. The grain's too small, too cracked, too imperfect to export. Colonial-era Saigon sold them cheap to the people who couldn't afford better. Those people turned it into the greatest rice dish in Southeast Asia. Charcoal grilled pork chop marinated overnight in lemongrass, fish sauce, and sugar until the edges blacken and the fat renders into something that has no business costing 80 cents. Served over broken rice with shredded pork skin, a steamed egg meatloaf, pickled daikon, and a pool of fish sauce that ties every element into one plate that hits every flavor at once. Saigon took the reject ingredient and built its identity around it. No apologies, no rebranding, just decades of perfecting a plate the world eventually had to respect. 80 cents, every morning, on every corner. Stay with us, because what's coming at Stop 7 is worth every second. Stop 2, 75 cents Bánh Mì. Why Saigon's version dominates the world. New York charges $18 for this. Saigon charges 75 cents. The Saigon version wins. Every food city on earth has tried to copy this sandwich. None of them have. Shatteringly crispy baguette. Light, airy, shatters on the first bite like it was engineered specifically for that moment. Loaded with house-made pâté, cold cuts, pickled daikon and carrot piled aggressively high, fresh cilantro, sliced chili, and a smear of butter that quietly holds the entire operation together. Saigon's Bánh Mì is not restrained. It is not delicate. It is everything, stacked on purpose, priced like an accident. No shop, no sign, no English menu. A cart on a sidewalk, a line of locals holding helmets, and 75 cents. The copies exist in every major city in the world. None of them taste like this. Stay with us, because Stop 9 is the dish that makes people put down their phones and just eat. Stop 3, 90 cents Bánh Xèo, the sizzling crepe bigger than your head. This is the loudest dish in Vietnam. You hear it before you see it. The sizzle hits you from half a block away. That sound, rice batter hitting a screaming hot pan, is Saigon announcing itself. Bánh Xèo, literally sizzling cake. A massive crispy rice and coconut milk crepe, yellow from turmeric, folded over a mountain of shrimp, pork belly, bean sprouts, and green onion. Fried until the edges lace into a shatter-thin crust that crumbles the second you touch it. You don't eat it with a fork. You tear off pieces, wrap them in mustard leaf and herbs, dip into fish sauce, and eat it with your hands like the city intended. Saigon's Bánh Xèo is bigger, louder, and more aggressively loaded than any other version in Vietnam. Northern versions are delicate. Saigon's version is a statement. 90 cents, ordered by the pan, eaten fast before the crunch disappears. Stop 4, 85 cents Bún Thịt Nuông, cold noodles, charcoal pork, zero broth, Vietnam has over 50 noodle dishes. This is the one Saigon eats on repeat and never tells anyone about. No broth, no heat, no apologies. Cold rice vermicelli piled into a bowl and buried under charcoal grilled pork that spent the night marinating in lemongrass, garlic, fish sauce, and sugar until every fiber absorbs something it can't give back. Topped with crushed peanuts, fried shallots, fresh mint, shredded lettuce, pickled daikon, and a crispy spring roll riding the side like it owns the place. Then the fish sauce dressing hits everything, and the bowl makes complete sense. This is Saigon's most underrated lunch, built for a city that moves too fast to wait for broth to boil. You mix it yourself. That is the instruction. That is also the entire experience. The charcoal is non-negotiable. Gas flame produces meat. Charcoal produces the reason you came back to this stall 3 days in a row. 85 cents, cold noodles, hot pork, Saigon roaring past you on all sides. Stop 5, 95 cents, Hu Tu Nam Vang, the noodle soup Saigon stole from Cambodia. This is the bowl pho tourists never find. Locals have been hiding it in plain sight for decades. Hu Tu Nam Vang. Nam Vang is the Vietnamese name for Phnom Penh. The soup crossed the border with Cambodian Chinese immigrants and never left because Saigon got hold of it and made it impossible to abandon. Clear pork bone broth, light and clean but built on hours of simmering with dried squid and shrimp that add a quiet depth no single ingredient can explain. Thin rice noodles, sliced pork, minced pork, shrimp, a quail egg sitting dead center like it was placed there deliberately. Fresh bean sprouts, celery, and green onion on top. The broth is the whole story. Subtle, complex, and cleaner than anything that has any right to cost 95 cents. You can order it wet or dry. Locals order it dry. Noodles in a bowl, broth on the side, everything mixed at the table on their own terms. Saigon took this bowl, claimed it completely, and never gave it back. 95 cents. No tourist menu in sight. Stop 6, 50 cents, Bon Trong Tron, the snack teenagers. Invented and nobody can stop eating. No chef invented this. No restaurant perfected it. A generation of Vietnamese teenagers built this dish from scratch on a sidewalk, and it beat everything on the menu. Bon Trong Tron is dried rice paper cut into strips, tossed in a bag with green mango, dried shrimp, quail eggs, roasted peanuts, fried shallots, fresh herbs, and a sauce that hits sour, spicy, savory, and funky all at once. The vendor mixes it by hand, right in front of you, in a plastic bag, 50 cents. This is the snack that proves Vietnamese street food doesn't need a kitchen, a stove, or a single minute of cooking. Just the right ingredients and someone who knows exactly how hard to shake the bag. It's cold, it's chewy, it's crunchy, it's everything happening simultaneously. Saigon's next stop might be the most controversial dollar you'll spend all day. Stay with us. Stop 7, 60 cents. Ba Chiên, fried rice cake from Saigon's Chinese Quarter. This is the street food that's been frying in the same Saigon neighborhood since before your parents were born. 60 cents, still perfect. No reinvention, no rebranding. Just a cast iron pan, an open flame, and a technique that has never once needed improving. Ba Chiên. Cubed rice flour cake dropped into a screaming hot oiled pan and pressed flat until the outside builds a crust that shatters on contact. Then 2 eggs cracked directly over the top, spread across the pan, cooked until the edges crisp and the center stays just soft enough to pull everything together. Finished with green onion, bean sprouts, tangy pickled radish, and a dark soy and vinegar dipping sauce that cuts through the richness like it was designed specifically for this dish. Born in Cholon, Saigon's Chinese district, carried by generations of Teochew immigrants who never once compromised the recipe. The outside is audibly crispy. The inside is soft, dense, and completely satisfying in a way that $50 restaurant food rarely achieves. You eat it from a paper plate on a plastic stool and wonder why the rest of the world hasn't figured this out yet. 60 cents, cast iron, no shortcuts. Stop 8, 85 cents. Soup Kua, the crab soup. Saigon never exported. Every major food city exports its best dish. Saigon kept this one entirely for itself. No international version. No copycat chain. No airport restaurant serving a diluted variation. Soup Kua stayed in the neighborhood where it belongs and never apologized for it. Thick, silky crab broth simmered low until the whole pot reduces into something that coats the spoon and refuses to let go. Real crab meat, soft tofu, quail eggs, wood ear mushrooms, and glass noodles that absorb every layer of flavor the broth spent hours building. Then, egg white drops in, stirred slowly into ribbons that give the soup its signature texture. Somewhere between a bisque and a chowder, and entirely neither. Finished with white pepper, a squeeze of lime, and chili oil that turns a great bowl into one you think about for days. Served from a cart that appears at specific hours and vanishes without explanation. 85 cents. No menu, no reservation. Just a ladle and a soup that has zero interest in being discovered by the wider world. Saigon's best kept secret has been on this corner the whole time. Stop 9, 70 cents Nem Nong Quan, the spring roll that changes everything. This is the dish that made us put down the camera and just eat. 70 cents. No heat, no pan, no fire, just hands, herbs, and a technique so precise it looks effortless and takes years to actually master. Nem Nuong Quan, grilled pork sausage, smoky and slightly charred from the charcoal, rolled inside a fresh rice paper sheet with vermicelli noodles, cucumber, green banana, starfruit, fresh mint, and perilla leaf. Assembled at the table in front of you by hands that never once slow down or hesitate. The roll arrives tight, translucent, every ingredient visible through the wrapper like it was arranged deliberately. Then the dipping sauce, thick, peanut and hoisin based, with a hit of chili that finishes every bite with something the roll alone cannot provide. This is Saigon's most elegant street food, built entirely without heat and somehow more satisfying than dishes that took hours to cook. 70 cents. Assembled in seconds. Gone in 4 bites that feel like they should have lasted longer. Stop 10. 60 cents Cheba Mao, the 3-color dessert that wins every time. Western dessert menus have been trying to compete with this for decades. 60 cents. They haven't come close. No oven, no butter, no technique borrowed from anywhere else on earth. Che Ba Mao, 3 layers built deliberately in a single plastic cup. Red beans, slow cooked until soft and lightly sweetened. Mung bean paste, smooth and dense, pressed into a second layer that sits firm against the first. Pandan jelly, grassily sweet, electric green, and completely without Western equivalent, cut into cubes and dropped on top. Then crushed ice packed over everything. Then coconut milk poured slowly over the ice until it finds every gap and settles into the layers below. Every spoonful pulls a different combination, every bite a different texture, no 2 mouthfuls identical from the same cup. This is Saigon's oldest sweet street food. Temple recipe, street corner price, zero compromise between the two. The coconut milk ties every layer together without overpowering a single one. 60 cents. Plastic cup. Eaten standing outside a stall that has 17 competitors within walking distance and is still somehow always the busiest. Stop 11. 60 cents, Bia Saigon, the beer. This city actually runs on. A pint in London costs $8. In Saigon, 60 cents gets you the beer an entire city agrees on. No tasting notes, no craft brewery backstory, no bartender explaining the process. Bia Saigon, crisp, cold, and carbonated, just enough to remind you it was built for this exact climate. Light without being thin, refreshing without being forgettable. The kind of beer that makes complete sense the second the humidity hits you. Plastic cup, plastic stool. Sidewalk table 3 inches from live traffic. the entire city roaring past at full volume while you sit completely still and drink something that costs less than a stick of gum in New York. This is Saigon's nightly social institution. The beer that ends every workday, starts every conversation, and never once raised its price to match its reputation. Students, office workers, street vendors closing for the night. Everyone on the same sidewalk, same stool, same 60 cents. No reservation, no dress code, no minimum spend. Just a cold bottle, an open street, and a city that never fully stops, even when you finally do. Stop 12, 75 cents, Café Suaja, the coffee that makes Starbucks embarrassing. Starbucks spent decades and billions of dollars building a global coffee empire. A Saigon street vendor with a metal filter and a glass of ice is still winning. No seasonal menu, no oat milk options, no cup with your name misspelled on it. Cha Fei Sua Ja. Dark Robusta beans, often blended with butter or chicory for extra body, dripped slow through a small metal fin filter directly over a glass packed with ice. No rush, no shortcuts. The drip takes exactly as long as it takes, and the coffee has absolutely no interest in your schedule. What lands in the glass is intensely strong, slightly bitter, and bracingly cold. Then the condensed milk folded in at the bottom slowly bleeds upward, thick, sweet, and dense enough to completely transform the cup without ever overpowering the coffee underneath. This is not iced coffee with a Vietnamese label. This is an entirely different category of drink that happens to share a name with something you think you've had before. You haven't. Robusta carries twice the caffeine of Arabica. The fin filter produces zero bitterness. The condensed milk was never a compromise. It was always the superior choice. Saigon doesn't grab coffee and run. You sit, you watch the street. You let the motorbikes, the noise, and the heat happen around you at whatever pace the city chooses. 75 cents, one small glass, the most honest coffee transaction you will ever make. Stop 13, 70 cents, Cháo Long, midnight porridge, no apologies. New York has the dollar slice. Tokyo has ramen at 2 a.m. Saigon has this, and it wins. No reservation, no closing time, no lights bright enough to remind you how late it actually is. Cháo Long, slow-cooked rice porridge, simmered until every grain dissolves into a thick, silky base that coats the bowl like it was poured from something that has been going since sundown. Topped with pork organs, liver, intestine, heart, cleaned, sliced thin, and cooked precisely enough to stay tender without losing their character. Crispy fried pea laid across the top for dipping. Fresh ginger, sliced chili. A crack of white pepper that opens the entire bowl up the moment it hits the steam. This is Saigon's most honest midnight food, light enough to eat at 2 a.m., substantial enough to explain why you stayed out this late in the first place. No frills, no theater. Just a cart, a pot that never fully stops simmering, and a city that treats midnight like an acceptable dinner hour. 70 cents, plastic stool, Saigon still fully alive around you. The city never asked permission to be this good. 13 dishes, 13 stops, $9.85 total. Not a stunt, not a challenge, just the reality of eating in a city that has been perfecting street food for 1,000 years while the rest of the world was busy charging more for less. Saigon doesn't have a dollar menu. Saigon is the dollar menu. And it has been this good long before you arrived. If this changed how you think about food and travel, subscribe to Traveling and Eating. Real street food, real prices, real cities. No tourist traps, ever.